Okay, we'll begin the Planning Committee meeting of Akron City Council. I respectfully request a roll call.
Fusco.
Aye.
Kamer. Connor.
Aye.
Boys.
Aye.
Hannah.
Aye.
We have all committee members present except for Councilman Kamer.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept the minutes of the previously held meeting. Is there
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The ayes have it. So, we have 4 items that are up for public hearing this afternoon. The procedures will be, the clerk will read in the proposed ordinance, conditional use request. Mike Antonucci from our planning department will read in the recommendation from the planning department. After that, Sarah Biviano, our clerk, will swear in any individuals that wish to speak before the committee. We will then, after that, open up the public hearing and ask for public comment. We will request your name and address. After that, we will close the public hearing officially, and then we'll open up the questions for the committee and then all of council. We will repeat that process this evening at 5 o'clock, and you're invited, of course, to that meeting as well. Wanted to also mention, though, that the only difference between this afternoon and today is that we will make a recommendation at 5 o'clock. The committee will, to all of council, either in favor, against, or to table an item and take time. So those are our procedures. So thank you all for coming down this afternoon. We appreciate, we always like visitors. So with that, I will ask Sarah Biviano to please read in the first item on our agenda.
The first item up for public hearing today is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to place freestanding signs within the setback at 676 South Broadway Street and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Antonucci.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Cleveland Clinic Akron General is requesting permission to erect 3 destination ground signs within the setback. The main identification sign would be placed at the entrance at South Broadway, 1 foot from the right-of-way. It would measure 4 feet in height by 8 feet in width for an area of 32 square feet. It would be constructed of double-sided aluminum with internal illumination. The sign face would read Cleveland Clinic Akron General in black lettering, along with the hospital logo on a silver background. In addition to the identification sign, there will be 2 directional signs identifying the Cleveland Clinic Akron General with logos and arrows. 1 sign containing 18 square feet in area will be sited at the corner of East Barges Street and South Main Street, 2 feet from the right-of-way or the sidewalk. The other will contain 10 square feet of area and will be placed at their South Main Street entrance, 6 feet from the sidewalk. Petitioner is correct in stating that the substantial building setback and wide right-of-way creates a challenge to provide adequately visible signage for this busy facility, particularly at the South Broadway and South Main Street entrances, and the proposed locations are a suitable solution. As such, both planning staff and planning commission recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Antonucci. I'd like to ask if there's anyone here online or here in person that would like to testify before the committee to please be sworn in by our clerk, Sarah Biviano.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll open up the public hearing and ask if there's anyone wishing to speak in favor of this proposed signage on Broadway.
Good afternoon. My name's Tom Yankovich. I'm with Ellett Sign Company at 3041 East Waterloo Road, Akron, Ohio 44312. Today we're asking for these signs at each entrance. As you may know or be familiar with that property, it's a very large property. It has 3 frontages, as Mr. Antonucci said. Each one has its own entrance. Now, on the South Broadway entrance, it's a larger sign there, but it's 1 foot from the right-of-way, but that right-of-way is excessive along South Broadway. It's about 40 feet from the curb. So therefore, we need good visibility from there, and placing that 1 foot setback from the right-of-way does not hinder visibility at that entrance at all. The other signs are located on East Burgess and also on South Main Street. Those are located close to the right-of-way as well. However, you know, they're in the spirit of the code, you're trying to keep the signs back so there's good visibility ingressing and egressing from the property. The signs would be positioned on the right-hand side as you're exiting the property, but all the traffic's coming from the left-hand side. So therefore, they don't hinder the visibility whatsoever as you're exiting or entering the property as well. So we're asking for a favorable approval, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them at this time.
Thank you very much. We will ask if there's anyone else here wishing to speak to the committee, either online or here in the audience. Is there anyone else here wishing to speak to the committee? Nobody? There's no one else. So at this time, what we'll do is we'll close the public hearing portion and ask if there's anyone here on committee that would have any questions whatsoever. Any questions from council members either? Okay, hearing or seeing no one, I will invite you back this evening at 5 o'clock. And at that point, we will then make a recommendation to all of council. Thank you for coming down. Thank you. Sarah Biviano, the second item that's up for public hearing, please.
The second item up for public hearing today is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a dual-use marijuana dispensary at 2010 East Waterloo Road and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. OTC Ohio is seeking permission to establish a dual-use marijuana dispensary at this location. Petitioner intends to completely renovate the interior and exterior of the 3,605 square foot, one-story building. The building will contain areas for reception, sales, receiving, storage, and a vault. Exterior building materials will consist of CMU block, concrete block, horizontal metal screening, and vertical standing seam metal panels. The color of the building will be a mix of white and light gray. Paved parking for 61 vehicles is available to the rear and both sides of the building. The site plan depicts 50 square feet of wall signage reading "Super Good" in white lowercase letters. A monument sign will also be sited between the two curb cuts. The dispensary will operate from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Petitioner anticipates hiring approximately 30 employees. Property is surrounded by UPD 6 zoned commercial uses. Since UPD 6 prohibits residential uses, any future residential development would need to receive council approval. It is not permitted at this time. The amount of parking spaces exceeds code requirements, and the property will be amply landscaped. Lighting and video surveillance, in addition to other state requirements for packaging and prohibited activities on the property, should mitigate any negative effects on the surrounding area. This proposed dispensary will be located along this heavily traveled commercial corridor and would be compatible with surrounding uses. Both planning staff and planning commission recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Antonucci. At this time, I'd like to ask Sarah Biviano to please swear in any individuals that may be here to testify before the committee.
If you're here for this public hearing, could you please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, "I do."
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, we will now open up the public hearing and ask if there's anyone here wishing to testify before the committee. If you can please provide for us your name and address.
Sure. Darcy Fankhauser, address is 554 North Chestnut, Ravenna, Ohio. My name is Darcy Fankhauser. I'm one of the co-owners of a company called Super Good. We are actually purchasing this location, the OTC Ohio entity, which comes with this license. So we are working in concert with the ownership of the license to go through the approval process and construct the facility to get fully licensed. This will be our second location in the state of Ohio. We're a small family-owned company. We have some of our staff here today that manage our other location in Ravenna. Our intent is to keep it small as much as possible. We don't like a lot of bureaucracy diversity, and we like our small family format. So at most, we'll have a couple stores within the state, but this is going to be our second, so it's a big expansion for us. A lot of our staff already come from the Akron area, so I think it'll merge well with our existing operations. Our whole team is really, really excited to move forward on this project, so if there's any questions that you may have, feel free to ask.
Thank you.
Yep.
At this time, I'll ask if there's anyone else here wishing to testify before the committee. Anyone else here? Anyone online? Okay, not hearing or seeing anyone, I will close the public hearing portion and open up to questions from the committee. Is there any questions? I see two, Mr. Hanna, and then we'll go to Ward 9. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Good afternoon. Where are the other locations that you have in the city of Akron?
We have no other locations in Akron. We have one location in Ravenna, Ohio, so about 20, 30 minutes away from here.
Okay. And how long have you had that establishment?
2.5 years now.
Okay. Why did you choose Akron and that location?
We chose that location specifically within the Akron Metro because we wanted to find a transitionary type corridor that's heavily commercial with, frankly, a decent amount of vehicle traffic on an average daily basis. We noticed that in that corridor there was a lot of newer kind of fast casual restaurants, car washes, Starbucks kind of popping up that are new, and we felt that it was showing a progression of newer development in that area.
Yes, sir.
What's the demographic of the neighborhood that you want to put that dispensary in?
Honestly, the demographics, we typically want to be in a location where within, a 30 to 45 mile radius that you can hit at least 20,000 people. So if you just drew like a 30-mile radius around that location, we want to be able to service at least a 20,000 people population, basically.
Thank you very much. Tina Boyes?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It looks as if you're repurposing the current structure, is that
Yes.
correct? Are you adding on to it or just
No,
literally
it's large
repurposing?
enough to be able to fit everything that we need within inside it. Obviously, we have to close it off because it's a drive-through beverage location right now. So there's plenty of work that needs to be done. We'll have to put on a brand new roof, new floors. So it's really just the walls that are going to stay. So there's a lot of work we're going to have to do to make it watertight. But we like the location enough to be able to invest what we need to turn it into a really nice store.
How does the size compare to your Ravenna location?
It's actually about 1,500 square feet larger. We're about 2,000 square feet in our Ravenna location, and we are busting at the seams. So this will be kind of a perfect size range for what we're looking for.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McKittrick?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Mr. Antonucci, were there letters sent out to any of the nearby residential areas?
Yeah, we sent out letters. We haven't heard, had any concerns come in.
Okay, thanks very much. Full disclosure, this is very close to my home. I have no problem with this. I think this would be a great location because it would not create traffic issues like we've heard with some of the other businesses coming into the city. I think that the way they've lined that part of the street, it's very easy means of egress, and I have no objections to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McKittrick. Any other questions or comments? Oh, yes, Linda Mobian.
Thank you. Just curious, you indicated that your Ravenna location is busting at the seams. What is your traffic like? I mean, how many people?
Traffic is actually quite good in that location. I would say Monday through Thursday, we see anywhere from 400 to 600 customers a day. On Friday to Saturday, it's anywhere from 700 to 800 customers a day. So we do expect some of that traffic to smooth out between the two locations because obviously we have customers that are currently driving from Akron to go to our Ravenna store. So we do think that there will be some kind of equaling out of those transactions, but we think it'll be a fairly busy store.
Yes.
Just a quick follow. You said that Akron, about how many people are driving from Akron to Ravenna? Do you track the?
Ooh, it's probably about 20 to 25% of our customer base is coming from Akron today.
Thank you. Further questions or comments? Yes, Mr. McKittrick?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Just one other thing. So this particular building right now is now operating as a beverage carryout drive-through.
Correct.
And I've lived in this area over 20 years, so this business has been there a long time. They did change some of the lineage on that roadway to create a turn lane, which improved the traffic considerably. So really, this is probably going to be less traffic than what is regularly going in and out of there with the beverage drive-through that's there now. So this won't be an increase, it should be a decrease in traffic. So thank you.
Thank you. Further questions or comments? Okay, very good. Again, we'll invite you back this evening at 5 o'clock. If you wish to zoom in, you have that opportunity as well. Thank you very much for stopping by. Appreciate it. Item number 3, Sarah Biviano.
The third item up for public hearing today is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct an oversized garage at 711 North Portage Path and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Antonucci.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Joseph Scasio is seeking approval to construct an oversized garage on this residential property. The proposed garage will measure 24 feet in width, 84 feet in length, for 2,016 square feet with a height of 22 feet. The structure would be situated 280 feet back from the front property line and 5 feet from the side yard property line. Access will be from the existing drive to the side of the home. It will be set on a concrete foundation and constructed as a wood frame structure with a natural stone and stucco facade on 3 sides and vinyl siding on the back. The garage will have a total of 7 bays with 6 10 feet by 10 feet and 1 12-foot by 10-foot garage bay door on the south elevation. The structure will have a gabled brown shingled roof that matches the house. Gutters and downspouts will be tied into the ground for proper drainage. The proposed garage will provide the personal storage of vehicles and household equipment and will add value to this property and the neighborhood without imposing on surrounding neighbors. And the planning staff and planning commission recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask Sarah Biviano to please swear in any individuals that may wish to testify before the committee.
If you're here for this public hearing, could you please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, "I do."
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. At this time, Sarah Biviano. At this time, we'll open up the public hearing and ask if there's anyone wishing to speak here. If you could please provide for us your name and address. Thank you.
I didn't hear the last part, I'm sorry.
Please provide for us your name and address.
My name is Joe Scasio. I live at 711 North Portage Path, Akron, Ohio, 44303.
Welcome.
So we have a garage that's there that's, I don't know how old it is. It's falling over. It's a 2-car garage, and it's completely full, and we've got vehicles and gators and lawnmowers and all of our stuff for our 6 acres, kind of a snowplow. It just looks like a junkyard, really. I mean, you can't really see it for the most part, but I'd like to have it all in one clean, dry building. I'd like to tear the one building down that's falling over. We got too much stuff, I guess. And so we're just seeing if we couldn't build a nice looking garage that kind of matches the home and the carriage house and everything to make it look good and just keep everything inside instead of outside all winter.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Anything else?
That's about it, really.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here wishing to testify before the committee referencing the proposed oversized garage at 711 North Portage Anyone else? Okay, hearing or seeing none, close the public hearing portion, open up to committee members. If there's any questions or comments from anyone, any council members, Mr. Bolden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, this property is, you don't see it from the road. You really don't. It's set back so far. Most of you, if you think of it, if you're coming up Garmin Road, you kind of run right into it if you'd go straight. Stan Hewitt Hall is across the street. What you see is well-maintained, and it's wooded lot. I think it's a great addition, especially if you're trying to get rid of stuff, trying to get stuff undercover. So I haven't heard any neighbors complain. I don't know if letters have been sent out. I didn't hear
100%,
anything.
no complaints. No.
Yeah, I didn't think so, so I'm definitely in favor of this.
Thank you, Mr. Bolden. Any further comments or questions? Okay, very good. We'll move on to the next item, and of course, invite you back this evening if you'd like to stop back at 5 o'clock, and/or you can Zoom in if you'd like. Thank you. Item number 4.
The last item up for public hearing today is an ordinance amending or supplementing Title 15, Land Usage, Chapter 153, Zoning Code, Article 1, General Provisions, Section 153.140, Definitions, Article 3, Classification of Uses, and Article 5, Accessory Uses in Residence Districts by adding definitions and development requirements on smoke shops, and Article 14, Conditional Uses, Section 153.464, Uses permitted as conditional uses by eliminating vape shops and declaring an emergency.
Yes, Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. The City of Akron is proposing to amend the zoning code to regulate smoke shops to be allowed in retail business, U3, and commercial, U4 use districts with adherence to specific spacing requirements. Licensing regulations are also proposed. Over the last few years, smoke shops selling nicotine, kratom, or cannabis hemp-derived products to be vaped or ingested by other means have proliferated throughout the city. The City of Akron is proposing this text change to the zoning code to reduce the number of smoke shops clustering near one another and near certain uses such as churches, schools, parks, and libraries. The zoning code is continuously updated to reflect modern developments. The city maintains that the continued proliferation of smoke shops encourages unhealthy activities with long-term consequences for individuals and the community. The products offered for sale are in many ways indistinguishable from the heavily state-regulated medical and recreational marijuana sales, and some establishments have blurred the lines between the two with intentionally confusing signage and advertising. Further, the oversaturation by clustering of smoke shops in areas of the city can lead to the potential for retail blight and disinvestment as establishments compete with cluttered signage and crowd out other varieties of establishments. As such, all new smoke shops will be permitted in districts allowing retail uses, but will be required to be licensed by the city. Also, they will be required to be located at least 1 mile from another smoke shop and be spaced at least 500 feet from a church, public library, public playground, public community center, public park, school, or community learning center. Smoke shops would be defined as any retail establishment of which 10% or more floor, shelf, storage, or display areas is used for the sale of smoke shop products, or any retail establishment that derives 25% or more of its revenue from the sale of smoke shop products. Smoke shop products are listed to include any product containing, made of, derived from, or containing any form of CBD, kratom, and/or hemp-derived or synthetic cannabinoid, including, but not limited to Delta-8 or Delta-9, THC, and aerosolized or vaporized tobacco or nicotine, as well as electronic smoking devices and other accessories for ingestion of the products. Traditional tobacco products and those authorized for sale by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration would be exempt. Objectives of the Land Use and Development Guide Plan include providing well-planned, designed, and located business areas of sufficient size and location to service the needs of the population, developing retail areas in such a manner that they do not harm adjacent residential areas, enforcing land use and zoning policies which restrict the expansion of harmful retail strip activity, and discouraging the overdevelopment of retail activities that lead to retail blight. As such, the planning staff is of the opinion that the proposed text changes regulating the spacing of new smoke shops, together with a licensing requirement, will over time guard against an oversaturation of these smoke shops while promoting a healthier, more diverse mix of establishments in our business districts. And both the planning staff and planning commission recommend approval of the requested text changes. Thank you.
Thank you for your input and recommendation, Mr. Antonucci. At this point, I'll ask if there's anyone here wishing to testify before the committee. Doesn't appear that way, but is there anybody online? Anyone online? No? Okay. Very good. With that, I will ask if there's anyone. If there's no one, we won't swear anyone in, but we will open up the public hearing portion and ask if there's anyone wishing to testify before the committee. Anyone? Anyone? No one? We'll close the public hearing portion, and now we'll open up. I see Mr. Julian is excited to speak on this item. Him and I have had several conversations, appreciate all of his work on this and the planning department's work on this. This is something that we've been anticipating for some time, and hopefully this is something we can pass soon and begin to implement. So, Mr. Julian?
Yes, the planning department folks did a lot of work on this. We also work closely with folks in law as well as folks in assessments. So it's been a really
good
cross collaboration here. It's important to recognize that. There is a companion piece of legislation for this. I have a draft that I shared with Sarah Biviano, and I also have paper copies. That is the licensing component. And so if you're a business that is predominantly involved in the sale of these types of products, we're going to ask that you get licensed. And then from there, we'll be able to regulate the spacing on these so that we can slow the proliferation of these types of businesses across the city. We've done a lot of research on what other cities are doing. We feel we've kind of picked the best elements that we could that make sense for where we are. And so this is our approach. We also feel like, where it is today, the city is pretty much saturated based on these spacing requirements. And so hopefully, that will be that for a while. If you know your wards, you think about a mile distance from the ones that are in your wards, then you know that there's not much more room in your wards.
Very good. Thank you. Couple questions, comments. First of all, thanks for working with council. It basically came from us in terms of requesting the moratorium, and we appreciate your support of that. And I think pausing it was a prudent move on everyone's part in terms of the city of Akron. This though, and I know it probably won't. The idea just came in my mind, and that is perhaps we could look at. And I don't know where they're at. I know we were watching it for a time, what the state was doing on regulating this, if they are still doing that or not doing it, what the momentum is one way or the other.
Are you speaking specifically like the Kratom and the Delta?
Well, yeah, part where I'm going with this is that what I'm concerned about, and I think a lot of us are, is and I don't know how to put this, but the bathtub-made substances that we are hearing that's going out in the retail market.
Yeah.
And I know that's not quite our lane, but I was thinking perhaps, a resolution maybe once, we could put that together perhaps in a week or so, encouraging the state, try to collect some information on that. It just, like I said, just popped in my, and we've had a lot of conversation on it, but it seems like that might be a good, just get it out there to the state.
I think that there is a regulatory gap, and it's not ours.
Right.
It is definitely the state and federal government to kind of think about where this stuff sits in their regulatory framework and to act accordingly.
Agreed.
And I would wholeheartedly endorse that piece. There have been some discussions in Columbus and in DC about that, kind of regulating these gray market hemp products. Hopefully we'll get something productive.
Yeah, let's, We can discuss that this week, and if any other council members would like to get involved. That, and then if you could explain for us, make it a little clearer. I think I know, but I'm not quite sure if I grasp the 10% and the 25%. The 10% is floor space, and 25% is the receipts. Is that right?
Yes.
Right?
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
just want to make sure, because I was always
Yeah.
operating.
And it's an or, right? It's one or the other.
Okay.
Okay, so, we wanted to capture those businesses that are, this is what they do, that this is their
Sure.
primary thing, and so that we could, just stop those smoke stop signs being plopped up everywhere around the
Gotcha.
city.
And so, and then on the enforcement side, we'll routinely check on these?
Yes. So the goal here now is, once we get the two pieces passed, then we would, go through our records and rely on, your knowledge of your wards, et cetera, and just find out, make sure we have that comprehensive list, send out letters, multiple rounds of letters to make sure people that are in business are getting their license as appropriate. There's a hefty fine proposed if you sell without a license. And then from there, we'll create that database and watch it. And then as we discover that new businesses have opened, perhaps without getting the license, then we'll have that ability to check and say, no, you can't, or yes, you can, but you got to get a license regardless. And then we also know that there have been some businesses that have opened since the moratorium that we found out about. We're trying to, act appropriately with the enforcement side with those.
Good.
So that's.
So, just curious here, in terms of the violation piece, if we do, after this is passed, and say you find someone that didn't apply for a license, what have you, so the steps are going to be, well, you explain it. I think I know what they are, but I want you to explain it. What are the steps?
Well, there's a $500 fine proposed for selling without a license.
Okay.
And then that would, if you don't stop, that would continue. And then there's also zoning violations that would also kick in as well, because you're operating a business
Yeah.
that requires, the license, and if you're not licensed, then it's a zoning violation as well.
So I assume that we give them X amount of days to comply, and that's the steps? Yeah. Okay, just curious.
Yep, no, it's good, it's good.
Want to get it out there.
Yep.
Very good. Questions from any committee members? This time, we're going to go with Tina Boyce first, and then you, Mr. Hannah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am going back to the percent of floor, shelf, storage, or display area, and I just want to clarify. So if it's used for the sale of, does that include the marketing of, or is that specifically the shelf, floor, storage, or display of the actual product?
That'd be the product itself.
So how does the signage come into play here?
So we have signage regulations that
Got it.
cover every business.
Okay.
We can't have a signage regulation that targets a type of business.
Got it, okay. And just to follow up also on the, so existing businesses that aren't portraying themselves as smoke shops, perhaps convenience shops that have been there for 20 years, that are now using 10% of their floor space to market these products, how do we deal with them? They're not businesses that we need to go back that recently opened, but they're, old-time businesses.
If we suspect that they're above that, one of those two thresholds, then we'll have to, send a zoning letter and ask them to confirm, and they'll have to provide that in the form of a floor plan or something.
Yeah, because I think I'm seeing more and more of that at gas stations and convenient marts.
So,
in
yeah, I
neighborhoods.
mean, the gas stations are, I think, are a different animal, and the code actually calls them out separately, because what constitutes your floor space, if you have that little mini thing there, right, and the little kiosk, essentially, right, and so it's, that is treated separately as, as a true, a smoke shop as such in the code, because of the challenge of thinking through how to treat the gas pumps as part of the retail space.
So, in other words, it's harder to send them an order to comply because they're a gas station?
If you treat the gas pumps as part of the retail space, then they're not going to be anywhere close to 10% anyways. And it's
Interesting.
leaving that outside the exercise.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Hanna?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Would there be any type of inspections going on with these facilities? My concern is that the limitations, and they're cropping up in the minority neighborhoods faster than any other neighborhood. And I know you can't keep people from having businesses and opening up business, but there's a vape shop in my neighborhood, in my ward, that's almost as large as Giant Eagles, the space, really. And so I'm glad that it was a moratorium put forward to slow it down, because we didn't see that train coming down the track when it first started.
Fair.
And so with this legislation, hopefully there would be some type of limitation. And I know we can't stop it in minority neighborhood, but I was hoping that some type of inspections that would keep outsiders from bringing those vape shops and whatever in our neighborhoods. And is that possible? And are you going to be able to inspect the facilities that you're going to be allowing to open up? Or will they just open up and then that's it? No inspections?
Well, they have to get licensed if they're new, right? And so we got to check and make sure that they're not violating that spacing requirement that's in the zoning portion, 1 mile from another, 500 feet from one of those sensitive uses. And then there is no provision for inspecting those businesses. If they are if there are issues that the business has that are related to criminal activity, then that's a question for criminal investigation. There is a provision in the licensing, in the licensing ordinance, if a business is declared a nuisance, a criminal nuisance, then they could lose the license. You have to display the license. And I believe there's a requirement, about age limitations being displayed. But beyond that, we don't have any provisions for inspection beyond things that would be applicable to every business. You have to have fire safety inspections and things like that, that every business has to comply with. But within these two ordinances, that's it. So it should slow the proliferation, though. I mean, Arlington Street is going to be tough to open up a new one between the churches and the existing smoke shops, as one example. South Akron, it's going to be tough to find a retail space that isn't within a mile of an existing one or 500 feet of a church. So I think this is a good solution for stopping the proliferation.
But on the inspection side, we would have to verify the 25%, right?
Well, if we suspect that they are a smoke shop and we send a letter, then they have an opportunity to show that it doesn't apply to them based on that we don't hit those thresholds, right? But there would be, that would be a matter for us to, do a visit and have those conversations, yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's to verify that they do or don't hit the thresholds.
Right. Okay. Linda Mobian, then Bruce Bolden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My real concern is, I do certainly agree that we got too many of these things in our city and neighborhood, probably. I don't know much about them. I just drive around and people tell me that's what they do. And I went into the one on Copley Road. My concern is, if we don't have real teeth to do anything to enforce this. And I realize you don't have the staffing, and many years ago, when I first joined Junior League, one of the things we used to do, we used to go out in a team and go to places that were selling cigarettes to children, to minors. And we would go as a group, and we would have a teenager with us. And that's how we found out about some of these businesses. And I don't know if you need to think about partnering with somebody or some entity that could do something like this, because if there's no way to really enforce, I don't know, it's almost like we don't have real enforcement mechanisms. Because I'm thinking in terms of not just this, but the business of the Dollar Generals. And I know we approve these things all the time, but if you go to many of them, I wouldn't want them anywhere near my neighborhood because they're just not neat, clean, organized, and sometimes it spills over into the parking lots and all of that. And I know that's a different animal, but that's still part of what we do down here is that we approve things with the understanding that these businesses are going to operate well and professionally and be nice neighbors. But if we don't have a way to enforce and make them do what they need to do, it's just a real concern. So I just wanted to express that.
No, I appreciate that, but I do think that the monetary fines attached to the property are going to be, make the property owners particularly sit up and take notice and, react accordingly. So I do think that there's an opportunity with the fines that we can levy here to get enforce compliance and stop the spread.
So just to review, it's 1,000 feet, right? Is that what it was?
It's 1 mile from another.
1 mile from another.
And 500 feet from what we're calling the sensitive uses, church, school,
gotcha.
Playground, library, and something else.
So you gotta put whatever that thing's, protractor, what is that what it is? And you draw a mile around it, and if they're within that mile, they can't open.
Yeah. From
If
another.
they do try to open, then you begin the.
That's when you do the process. Now, we have all these businesses that are open, that are not going to, that are going to be within that mile or within that 500 feet, right?
Sure.
And we can't shut those down.
The
right? But
grandfather ones. Correct.
This is about the proliferation.
Good, thank you. Mr. Bolden?
Thank you. That was one of my questions, was the grandfathering in. I kind of figured that because I've got one that is literally right around the corner from Hardesty Park, where there's a lot of events, there's a lot going on there. I also have 3 of them in the valley that are within a mile of each other. They're maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, and the ones that are there, the one just opened up next to it a kava bar, which is basically selling kratom, from what I understand, too, that recently opened up in between when this moratorium came in. I don't know if a kava, I don't know what kava is, but I'm assuming it's similar to kratom. And talking to the lady that runs the pizza shop next door, I asked them, what is that? And she's going, it's that stuff that makes kids crazy. And I'm going like, great. And I did my limited research on kratom, and it's obviously a stimulant of some sort that is not really regulated too well, and that's part of the Delta 88 stuff. Somebody that opened up a kava bar that might even be connected to the place. I don't even know. I haven't been in. Would that be and they've done that since this moratorium, would that fall into it or not? Just wondering.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a new one. It's probably one we got to look into. Maybe the state's working on some, regulatory, fix on that. But it also is something that we could always add to the text if we find it, as things come up.
Right.
We can throw it in here, and make some changes along the way.
And if they are connected by an interior wall where they can walk through, there's no door there, if they can walk into this place, would that be considered part of the smoke shop?
Yeah, well, I guess
that would drastically change the 10% rule there too.
Right.
If the place is double the size. I'm just wondering.
That's true
Okay.
too.
I'll get you the address and give you something else to do, right, Mike? Thank you very much.
There's going to be little tricks along the way.
Yeah, in terms of, anyone else? Yes, Sharon Connor.
Just a quick question. If someone's grandfathered in and that business closes, the new business could not be there, is that correct?
If the business closes and then, and assuming that someone didn't buy the business, right, but it goes out of business and a brand new one tries to, they would have to relicense, go through
If
the process.
someone buys the existing business, does it come then? Does it come back?
You buy if you buy the business, you can buy the operations. We
So he
can't.
buys the grandfather
That,
clause
yeah,
also?
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? Tina Boyce.
Sorry, just one more quick question, just for my edification, and this is more broad than this particular subject, but if there is a zoning violation and a letter sent, right, do we confirm that someone has complied, or do we wait for another complaint and then follow up again? Because, you know, with these kind of things, I'm just curious, like, how much enforcement we do and how much is more passive, like someone needs to tell us before we follow up.
Well, we're going to have to know where they are first, so we do rely on folks to tell us if somebody's trying to open up and we don't know about it. They need to get a license, so it's good if we can get the word out there that people are going to need to, and we're going to be sending letters to the ones that we know to go ahead and get that license. But on that license, they're obligated to list, what they have, that they got to, tell us that they have the 10% and all of that. So that's telling. But we can, if there's, good cause to know that they're much more than the 10% or the 25%, we can go in, yeah. So those are things that we can do.
And you will
But then as far as
verify.
follow-up,
Okay.
we do it like what we do now. It's for the zoning. If we're going based on the zoning fines, it's $100 and $500 and $1,000, and it stays at $1,000. We got to give them there's an order, they get the order to comply, and they have time within which to, file an appeal or whatever they want to do. We still have that mechanism. But then there's this additional layer with the fines for with the licensing. So
you follow it through. Once it's in the queue, it keeps going.
it keeps going.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Further questions or comments? Kind of glad the hour's getting late. We have more stuff. But we will request time this evening, and so give us more time to study it. I'd like to have a discussion with the health department. I'd also like to work on that resolution, find out where the state is on their stuff, and kind of go from there. If anyone has any ideas whatsoever, of course, follow up on Mr. Bolden's ideas. So with that, we'll move on to the balance of the agenda, in which we'll take time and move into the new list of legislation. Sarah Biviano, can you please read in the first item, which is also known as item number 6?
Item number 6 is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a group home at 799 Stadelman Avenue and declaring an emergency.
For and advertise for public hearing.
Item number 7 is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a 3-unit apartment at 892 Delia Avenue and declaring an emergency.
For and advertise for public hearing, please.
Item number 8 is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a parking area consisting of crushed asphalt grindings at 1100 Triplet Boulevard and declaring an emergency.
For and advertise for public hearing.
Item number 9 is an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a beauty salon at 483 Howe Street and declaring an emergency.
For and advertise for public hearing, please.
Item number 10 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the Continuum of Care Planning Grant funds with assurances and certifications with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and authorizing the authorized official listed in ESNAPS to enter into all necessary contracts for the operation and term of the programs and declaring an emergency.
Hi, Helen Tomic.
Good afternoon, committee chair, committee members. Helen Tomic with the Long Range Planning Division. The Planning Department, in partnership with Akron, Berwick, and Summit County Continuum of Care, submitted and was awarded a Continuum of Care planning grant. This is approximately $407,000 that will be issued to the Summit County Continuum of Care to provide the ongoing daily basis, daily services, and implementing the guidelines of the Continuum of Care, working with our Continuum of Care agencies, and preparing applications and reporting for the NOFO, or Notice of Funding Availability, that's supposed to come out this week. No city funds will be used for, no city funds will be awarded to the Continuum of Care. We are just passing through the funds that we received from HUD.
Very good, thank you. Questions or comments from anyone? Hearing, seeing none. Can you, or did you, I apologize, but did you forward the last one, the actual, can we get a copy of it? The planning grant?
The application?
No, the actual,
Oh, you're
what
talking.
was found in the
You're talking about
planning from the last time?
Are you talking about the applications that were submitted to HUD, the 35 different applications that were submitted last year? Yeah, we can send that to you.
Yeah, not the, not all 35.
Yeah, just a summary of all of them, yes.
Summary.
Yep, we can do that.
Thank you, perfect. What's the timing on this?
We would prefer a suspension of the rules pending a government shutdown on October 1st.
That adds up. Is there a request for suspension of the rules?
So moved.
Second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, the ayes have it. Thank you. Item number 11.
Item number 11 is an ordinance authorizing the Director of the Department of Planning and Urban Development to enter into a contract or contracts with nonprofit organizations for the provision of public services in order to carry out the intent and purpose of programs under the consolidated plan for the year 2025, authorizing payment therefore and declaring an emergency.
Helen Tomek.
Every year, the City of Akron releases a request for funding opportunities through our Community Services Program. We are focused, and for 2025, we focused on infant mortality, public safety and the judicial system, financial empowerment centers, and information referrals. Applications were released in mid-July of 2025. We received 22 applications, in addition to applications from United Way for the Financial Empowerment Center and from Fair Housing Contact Service for fair housing activities. After reviewing the applications, we are recommending funding 13 of the 22 applicants for the 2025 fiscal year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Any questions or comments from anyone? Everybody get a chance to review? Okay. What's the timing on this?
Suspension of the rules, please.
Of course. Very good. Is there a recommendation for suspension of the rules? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against? Very good. The ayes have it. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. With that, that concludes the Planning Committee meeting of Akron City Council.
Our next committee today will be the Public Service Committee, and it will begin at 2 o'clock. Those committee members are Kamer, McKittrick, DeShazier, Bolden, and Lombardo. Again, that's the Public Service Committee, and it will begin at 2 o'clock. Thank you.
It's not taken. I have it written.
It's 2 o'clock, and our next committee meeting of the day is the Public Service Committee. Those committee members are Kamer, McKittrick, DeShazier, Bolden, and Lombardo. We do have all committee members present except for Councilman DeShazier. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I'd like to move forward and call the Public Service meeting to order. All members are present except for Councilman DeShazier. We did hold a meeting last week. If I can get approval of those minutes, please.
So moved.
Second. All in favor of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. We do have some items on our old agenda, and I do believe we have an amendment that will replace one item, and hopefully Sarah can read that in for the record, please.
Sure. Item number 1 in the regular agenda has a substitute offered as an amendment. That's item number 12 in new legislation. Again, that's a substitute offered as an amendment, an ordinance amending and/or supplementing Title V, Public Works, Chapter 50, Sewers, Article 2, Sewer Charges, Sections 50.20 Definitions, 50.21 Levy of Charges, 50.22 Sewer Service Charges, and 50.23 Charges outside the city of the codified ordinances of the City of Akron and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Sarah, and we do have our Service Director, Chris Lutto, with us. And Chris, can you explain what we have in front of us today?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. Yes, this is a substitute offered as an amendment. And on page 4 of the original legislation, the last charge that was in there beginning January 1st, 2029, I'm sorry, we had it in there starting in January 1 of 2030, there was going to be a municipal cost increase that was limited up to 50 cents per HCF. We have removed that. So the rate increase will be just through January 1st of 29, ending at the end of the year, which is another 5.3% rate increase on the original 1066. So we talked about all the way through, which is in 2026. It goes by your meter size, which is basically any residential, small commercial up to 1 inch. Is a $5 recovery charge, and then in 27 it stays at $5, and every year is the 5.3 increase. And like I said, we had that, and there were some questions that council kind of limits their authority after 2030 to approve rate increases, so we have removed that from the legislation. So at the end of 29, the rate will stay that until deemed there has to be some type of adjustment to the rate moving forward.
All right, thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Committee members, any questions or comments for Mr. Luttle? Councilman Bolden, please.
I've got some questions because somebody brought something up yesterday, and maybe I'm naive because I get my bills online. And I look at it when I get the email saying your bill's going to be whatever it is, and the next month, if it's in the same amount of range, I don't look at it. I know it goes up when the kids come home for Christmas and there's people there. But I looked at it online, and one of the things that they showed me was that they showed me their water bill. And when I look online, I don't really see my bill unless I pull the PDF up. I've got an iPad, so I don't. But they asked me about the billing charges, the $775 billing charge. And so what's that for? And I went, I don't know. I felt like an idiot that I didn't know that. But, you know, I'm looking at billing charges, and they said, well, is it because we're getting a mailed bill? And I said, no, because everybody, then I pulled my bill, and I said, you know, I don't get it. And I know it doesn't cost $775 to mail a bill. It doesn't charge to do that. Because I remember when the city was still inserting things in the basement down there that we had a service contract on, we changed that. So where does that break down, and what is that for?
So the $775, $4 is water and $3.75 is sewer. And those are monthly billing charges for both utilities, and that covers all the back office, all the finance, all the billing services that go into whether it's electronic bill or a mailed bill. That covers all those costs. It also covers the cost for the sanitation portion. So anytime there's a change in service, a customer's added, a customer's taken off, if someone gets an extra that's all built into the billing charges.
Okay. With the automated metering coming in, that was going to save some money, correct?
Correct.
I'm sure you probably figured that into your costs in the
We
whole
did.
thing, but wouldn't that go on the billing charges too, or if we're doing that, if it's coming automatic? Shouldn't there be some savings there? I mean,
Well, the savings that, we built into this performer were, currently with the meter reading we have now is one employee, one vehicle that drives our whole distribution system. As they drive by your house, they pick up that reading. Then all that is built into the billing charge. The change will be that we will be able to read that remotely.
right.
We will not have to have that car or that employee. Okay, so that was built into this same performer where we didn't have to raise the billing charge, but costs do go up. Salaries go up, everything goes up. So we didn't have to raise the billing charge. It was offset by this efficiency that we're going to be doing. Someone still has to take that reading
Right.
electronically and then input it and calculate what the bill's going to be. Now, I think some people have seen their bill jump by $15 a month
Because it's more accurate.
because this is going to be more accurate, because we only read in HCF currently. We're going to go down to 100 gallons instead of, one HCF, which is 748 gallons. So you're going to see your bill level out a little bit because, as you said, people come home, I have extra people staying. If you have kids that go away to college and they come back, your bill could jump by 2 units, which could be $26.
Right.
And you think, how did it jump so high and then come back? So this will help level it out. But the $775 is a billing charge. It's always been on there. $4 of that is the water, $375 is the sewer.
When did that go on? Just wondering, ballpark.
It's been on there for years and years. I mean, water was raised probably a quarter, probably in 2016,
Okay.
and it stayed the same way. So it hasn't changed, and sewer hasn't changed since way before that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councilman. On that topic, I do got a question before I call on anyone else. Were you done, Mr. Bolden?
Yeah.
You sure? I apologize.
Go
Go ahead.
And I know we've got, there's 80-some thousand, 70,000, 80,000 bills,
85,000.
85,000 bills that go out at 775. That's $7 million a year. That's a big chunk of money for billing services. But thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Well, on that topic that he brought up, so I apologize that I interrupted him. The 775, the billing charge, does that come from the service director's office that can raise that rate at any time, or how's that raised?
It would be
Or-
raised by council vote for sewer. Water charges are deemed by the service director.
Okay. So the 375 can only increase by our
Approval.
approval. And then the $4 water charge is under your jurisdiction,
Correct.
basically. Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Committee members, any other council members with us today? We need it. Okay. Chris is okay with taking another week's time on this piece if the committee is willing to move forward with time.
Motion for continued time.
Second.
All in favor of time, say aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Sir, can I, just one thing?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I'd appreciate any questions, please email me, so I'll be prepared next week.
Sure, no.
Thank you.
I apologize. I got this yesterday.
No, it's fine.
Somebody at church,
No,
they go,
no.
they show me their bill. I'm going like,
Yeah.
what the heck? And
No, that's
I had to
fine.
go pull mine off, to
Yeah.
see what it was.
All right. Let's do a roll call real quick, and then I got a comment. Go ahead.
Kamer,
Aye for time.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Bolden,
Aye.
Lombardo.
Nay.
The motion for time passes 3-1.
All right, thank you. And then Chris made a comment about any questions or anything, please make sure you email him. And hopefully next Tuesday, we'll see if we're ready to move forward with approval or disapproval, or however. All right, thank you. Moving forward, Sarah, if you don't mind reading in the next piece, I appreciate it.
Item number 13 is an ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts with A. Crano Excavating Incorporated without the formality of publicly advertising for bids to clean an existing storm sewer culvert under Merriman Road and declaring an emergency.
Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. Yes, on Merriman Road, north of the tracks, north of Margate, going down to the valley, we have a 42-inch storm line that runs from the Metro Parks underneath the Merriman Road and continues down the hill. This legislation will allow us to pay the contractor for the emergency reconstruction and removal of obstructions in that 42-inch storm sewer. This is caused by a big tree that came down. It wedged inside of the pipe, causing backups. The street had to be closed a couple times. Obviously, it hasn't rained in a long time, but this goes back in May and June when it was raining a lot. We hired Crano Excavating to come in, and they had to do some reconstruction of the way the inlet or the head wall is on there. So they rebuilt the intake. They put in some steel bollards and some grizzly bars to keep these big items from going into the storm sewer. And then they also had to remove all this debris and clean the sewer. So we're hoping that this is going to take care of this problem long term, and this legislation will allow us to pay them for the work they did.
All right, well, thank you, Chris. Any questions or comments from committee members? All right, any other council members with us today? All right, is consent okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, motion for consent?
Second.
All in favor of consent, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. Moving on to 14, and please note for the record that Councilman DeShazer has joined us.
Item number 14 is an ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts after publicly advertising for bids and/or requesting and receiving requests for proposals for professional engineering services for the advanced treatment facility and the water plant and declaring an emergency.
Chris Little.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. This legislation will allow us to enter an agreement with a consultant, i.e. an engineering firm, after we publicly advertise for this work. Once we review their proposals and enter into a contract, we are looking for an advanced treatment facility at the water plant up in Kent. This treatment facility will improve drinking water quality for the purpose of reducing odor, alga toxins, and other contaminants. What we have found recently with the HA5s, we had to put out a press release, we did it on 2 areas, basically because of the algae and some of the other contaminants that happen once we use chlorine, the breakdown. So this is a separate facility. It'd be a separate building. So as the water comes in over the dam or through the intakes, it goes through the settling basins, and then it's chemically, once it goes through all our filtrations up at the plant, this would be a separate building. It would go through this, and this is basically granulated activated carbon. So this takes all those contaminants out. Once it goes through that building, it would go through our last chemical treatment before it goes out in the distribution system. So this is allowing us to develop this and go after funding for future. This is probably a few years out, but without this kind of design, shovel-ready, it's hard to go out and get this money or apply for these funds to build this facility. So that's what this will allow us to do. We have an estimate here. It's all going to be funded through a loan, a long-term loan, and then we will go out once we have this design to go out and help us go after funding to build this facility.
All right, thank you, Chris. Committee members, any questions or comments for Chris? Any other council members with us today? Okay, what's your pleasure on that one, Chris? Consent's okay?
Motion for consent. Second.
I have a motion and a second for consent. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. Moving on to our final piece. Sarah, please.
Item number 15 is a resolution supporting the efforts of the city administration and its partners in developing data-driven climate solutions after completing the latest greenhouse gas inventory for the city of Akron in 2025, which establishes a carbon pollution baseline that will inform climate action initiatives and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Sarah. Oh, hey.
Greetings and salutations. Thank you, Chair, members of Council. Today for this presentation, I'm so excited for our Director of Sustainability, Casey Shevlin, and Assistant Law Director, John Skakem, to present information about greenhouse gas inventory, climate action plan, and how it affects all of us in very realistic ways. Director Shevlin?
Hi, I apologize. I'm just adjusting to the technology here. Okay, thank you, Chair Kamer, members of the committee, for allowing me to present today. I'm going to be talking about climate action. Specifically, I'm going to be updating you on a greenhouse gas inventory we've completed and a climate action planning process we've recently started. I want to begin by just setting some context, because I know very well that climate change can feel like a distant global issue. This is something about polar bears and rainforests, and it's got nothing to do with us. The opposite of that. I want you to know that when I'm talking about climate change, whenever I'm talking to you about climate change, I am talking about higher energy costs for the residents and businesses that you represent. I'm talking about hotter temperatures that will affect day laborers, the elderly, folks with asthma, respiratory conditions, residents in low tree canopy neighborhoods. I'm talking about paradoxical periods of drought and intense rainfall, storms that used to happen every 100 years that happen far more frequently. Those are real things that can impact critical infrastructure, homes, businesses, people. And when I'm talking about climate action, I'm talking about, the ability we have to use our talents and expertise to turn those challenges into opportunities that make Akron stronger, that make a positive difference in the lives of people who live here. I'm talking about things like housing upgrades, HVAC, energy efficiency, weatherization, solar integration, the interventions that we know result in healthier homes, better indoor air quality, lower energy bills. I'm talking about tree canopy work that can bring cooling effects to neighborhoods that are 8, 10, 12 degrees hotter than neighborhoods on the other side of town. We need that in places like East Akron and South Akron, where there's a lot of pavement but not enough trees. I'm talking about job opportunities. This is a city with old housing stock, with old infrastructure in general. We have low solar adoption, below 1%, below 0.5%. We want those things to change and grow. We need a workforce to do it. We want those jobs to go to Akronites. I mean a whole host of other things that I can't spend time getting into that are up here, but what I'm saying is, and I hope it's clear, climate action is about real people, real challenges, real opportunities here at home. And the first fundamental step towards climate action is a greenhouse gas inventory, which I realize is jargony. I'm going to explain what that is. Greenhouse gas is a category of gas that warms the planet, causes climate change. It just does. I need us to accept that. I find greenhouse gas to be a pretty jargony term, like I said, so I'm going to be talking about carbon pollution so we can speak together in layman's terms. And carbon pollution comes from all manner of run-of-the-mill daily stuff: electricity use, natural gas use, gas-powered cars, transportation, solid waste that goes to the landfill, becomes methane in the air. All of that and so much more produces carbon in the air. A greenhouse gas inventory measures all the carbon pollution that exists essentially because of us existing. And it's an important fundamental step in the climate action process because it does a couple of things. One, it lets us know where we're at. What does the landscape look like? What does carbon pollution look like? It helps us determine what reduction strategies, what potential goals we can set. And it helps us track our progress, assess the effectiveness of strategies we implement over time. So you can see the process here. I wish it was a circle. I listed it. We measure we plan, we implement, we measure again. Not so different probably than other processes. The greenhouse gas inventory we just completed is the first in about 15 years for Akron. And we have extremely exciting information to report. We've reduced carbon pollution nearly 30% community-wide since 2005. That surpasses a goal the city set for a 20% reduction by 2025. They set it way before my time. Maybe some of you remember it. And incredibly, truly incredibly, we have reduced carbon pollution from city operations specifically by 54% in that same time frame. Credit basically entirely to our service divisions, right, who have done a number of the things that you can see listed here. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but I will touch on a few. Our wastewater treatment operations have been innovative and efficient for the past 10, 15, 20 years. Implementation of an anaerobic biodigestion process. I know those are big terms. A thing that turns organic wastewater sludge into energy that powers facilities. This is advanced sustainable stuff. Our municipal district energy system has become highly efficient. From that system alone, carbon pollution has been reduced 60% since 2009. This is really positive progress. These are things that we should truly be proud of. These are the results, these improvements are the result of legislation that's come across this committee, right? So these are things that we should really take pride in. Orienting us back to the climate action process again here, right? We measure, we plan, we implement, we measure again. We've measured, and we have a good sense of where we are because of this inventory. We know carbon pollution per capita, per head. We know what it looks like in the residential sector. We know what it looks like in the industrial sector, in the commercial sector, and city operations. So we're good. We've got a great baseline. We've got great data. Check. We have started just this month planning, right? The next step, a climate action planning process. It's a process we anticipate taking 12 to 15 months and resulting in a formally published climate action plan in the September to December 26 timeframe. The formal published plan will be a roadmap of climate solutions we identify for implementation in Akron. It'll be informed by data from the inventory I've been talking about today. It'll be informed by data on community needs, things like asthma rates, heat index, high energy bills. It'll be informed by community input from across the city, individual residents, businesses, community organizations. And that process is going to help us identify climate solutions that reduce the carbon pollution that causes climate change, prepare us for climate change solutions that, for climate change issues that can impact our city, our residents, our people, and simultaneously make stuff better, improve quality of life here in Akron. I'm going to show you an example of a climate solution like what I've just described. This is actually a program I thought, until just a few weeks ago I was going to implement very near term here in Akron, but the federal EPA terminated it. For the purposes of an example, I'm going to still describe the impacts that we had estimated would occur from this program. It would have reduced carbon pollution, yes. The equivalent impact of each participating household not driving their car 5 months of the year, every year. It would prepare us for climate change, number 2. Yes, warmer temps mean energy use goes up, higher bills, switching people to solar so they lower their bills in anticipation of those trends. That's a resiliency strategy. 3, improve quality of life. Yes, to the tune of residents' bills, each participating household's bills being reduced by $400 a year. I hope this helps make a little bit more tangible what it is I'm talking about when I say climate change is more than reducing carbon pollution that I can't see, that you can't see, that your residents can't see. It's about real solutions to challenges that they can see, that they're facing all the time. And this work I'm describing is not a departure from anything. It's the next step in a path Akron has already begun, a path City Council has supported and actually helped lead. John Skaken is going to talk a little bit about that legacy.
So to quickly contextualize the work that this body has done surrounding the initiatives that Casey has just outlined, since 2008 at least, the council has supported initiatives to combat climate change and to support residents who are facing the effects of climate change. More recently, in 2023 and in 2024, this council supported and authorized the city's participation and partnership with Power a Clean Future Ohio, which is an organization that we partnered with to create this greenhouse gas inventory, and that we're also working with to develop the climate action plan that we've discussed today. So not only does this inventory further these more recent initiatives that this council has supported, it's supporting initiatives that go back almost 20 years, initiatives that have urged the city to develop a framework to combat the effects of climate change, the everyday effects that residents face every day.
Thank you, John. So we're gonna stop the education there and end with what we're hoping for. I really encourage you to familiarize yourself with the greenhouse gas inventory report. I think the link has been shared with you. I can share it again. It's on our website. It was a lot of work. I hope you look at it. Invite us to your ward meetings. We are going to engage with community as part of the planning process. I can't wait to talk about it at your ward meetings, community meetings. And there's a climate action steps you can take section in the report. It's well labeled. The table of contents is something I'm proud of. And I want you to take one of the actions, please, and encourage your residents to take just one of the action steps. There are low cost and no cost options in there. And I'm going to stop there. Thank you so much. And we'll sorry, go. Yeah, sorry, Esther is reminding me that I should say before you ask, we were able to complete this greenhouse gas inventory at no cost to the city. It's why I joined with Power a Clean Future Ohio a year ago. It's why you supported it, because it's going to get us free consultants, free technical resources. Similarly, the climate action planning process that we've already started, also free to the city. It's why we are part of the Bloomberg program with 24 other cities. And that's something that normally costs cities, I would say, $100,000 to $250,000. We're going to get it done really well for free. So I just wanted to highlight those things. I'll take questions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Casey? Any other council members with us today? All right. No. Oh, Councilman Fusco, please.
Thank you. What's the time frame on this that you'd like it?
It's not urgent, the legislation you're talking about?
Yes,
okay.
yeah, the resolution.
It's not urgent that we pass it today. I mean, the report is out, we've started this planning process, so it's not, there's nothing urgent driving an emergency passage today if you want to take a week.
No, thank you. There's a lot here, excuse me, and I began looking at it like everyone else here. Just there's a lot to digest, I guess. But number one, I'm proud of us, I guess is what I would say. All of us in this room, in past administrations, this going back to 2008, it seems as though, and especially public service, Chris, in your team, obviously, we've always kind of looked at that piece of it in service. I know they have in terms of trying to reduce our carbon footprint. All the initiatives that we've supported over the years has helped with this, but it's just the beginning, and this is exciting to see. I know a lot of this work, like I said, it started before, but it seems as though we're taking it and we're kind of supersizing it, for lack of a better term, and kind of a focus area. I know under Horgan, this was a focus area as well. But kudos to you for putting this together, along with the partners, whoever they may be. But I just wanted to state that it's encouraging to see this. And I don't know if, in KC, through your travels, is this something that businesses look at? Whenever, considering, I mean, it's just glancing through this, our numbers are really good compared to our peer cities.
Yeah, I guess, am I on? Okay. I guess a couple of things. So first, I think, yeah, I agree. Chris and Jeff's teams have done an astounding job. I think we say all the time we punch above our weight in volume of work. We also punch above our weight in good ideas. There are really advanced innovations and efficiencies going on in the service divisions, and we should be really proud of them. And I think in terms of what businesses look at, I guess I'm not sure what you mean. Businesses themselves are tracking these same things, large businesses, companies.
Well, that's what the question was,
Yeah.
basically that.
Yeah. I came from a place that, this is probably the 4th greenhouse gas inventory I've done. So yeah, this is something companies do really regularly. They set goals really regularly. I think at the state level, if you're a business that has sustainability goals, just in terms of people coming to our region, coming to our state, coming to the Northeast Ohio area, if there are support systems in place for the sustainability goals that companies have, they're interested in that area, right? If there's green energy nearby and they've got goals to do that, they're more interested in your state than a state that doesn't have that. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you, and it does. But quantifying it and then goal setting within it is huge. And so hopefully down the road, at 2008 to 2025, 15, 20 years from now, council members will be sharing with administrations that we've even reduced it further. So I think this is a good initiative, but we should probably look at it before voting, just so everyone can digest it.
Thank you, Councilman Fusco. Councilwoman Connor?
This is great news. I think the work the service director and his team has done with environmental sustainability and carbon gas is a great story to tell, and a story that a lot of our residents don't know. We were at an environmental thing last year, and small tables, and they were just amazed at some of the efforts that have been put forward. So congratulations to them and your team. It's great to see how excited and your enthusiasm, and you're always welcome to a Ward 10 meeting whenever you want.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other questions?
I'm not sure if you.
Council.
Casey, I wondered, are all incentives from the federal administration off the table for cities that are trying to help with any of the environmental initiatives to clean up and look at inventories of themselves across the nation?
There's no, not yet, but very soon. So I think the EV, so tax credits for EVs themselves, electric vehicles, ends tomorrow. But there are, till the end of the year, electric vehicle infrastructure tax credits available through the 31st of December. Same thing with solar, renewable energy tax credits. So, but yes, after that point, they're going away.
Okay. Well, thanks. I think that we all need to, pay close attention to that. I know other countries around the world are paying a lot more closer attention than we have been lately. But thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other questions or comments? Yes, sure.
Mr. Chair, I have a handout that Casey's has prepared, and I'll give one to Sarah as well, but it's a quick reference for you all.
Sure, thank you. With that, I think consent, if we can get a motion for consent.
So moved.
For consent.
All in favor of consent, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, we'll put that on the consent agenda. That's it, correct, Sarah?
That is correct.
All right, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to begin the Public Safety Committee meeting. Those committee members are McKittrick, Kamer, Lombardo, Hannah, and Davis. We do have all committee members present. Excuse me, we're ready to begin the Public Safety Committee.
Hey, folks.
Thank you, Sarah. I'd like to call the Public Safety Committee to order. We have a piece coming in, a resolution today supporting the passage of the Megan's Way. Oh, I'm sorry, before we start that, could I get a motion to approve our previous minutes, please?
So moved.
Sorry. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. We have a resolution coming before us today supporting the passage of the Megan's Way Out bill on the Ohio General Assembly, which would require drive-through lanes in new or renovated facilities to provide a bypass lane to allow vehicles to exit and for emergency vehicles to access the scene and declaring an emergency. I see we have Councilwoman Amobian today. Will you be presenting on this?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I would like to extend our heartfelt thoughts and prayers to the Kellerman's family. I think we were all devastated the day after this incident happened, and we were all sending out prayers to the family. Then after I heard about State Senator Casey Weinstein's legislation, being a neighbor to Stowe, and truly looking at what happened, we want to be a part of making sure that we were on board to do something that would positively impact this devastating situation. As a practitioner in mental health and as a former administrator, I read about Megan's life and how perhaps if she were still here, I may have had the opportunity to work with her. Considering her background, she had just graduated from college with an MBA in nonprofit finance, which meant that she could have worked in mental health or some other nonprofit business. And she was actually working at a shelter for children during that time. So we want the family to really know that we extend our thoughts and prayers. And this legislation, I think, would do something good. I think most of us, as we drive around and go through drive-throughs, it impacts us that, is there a way out? I go to Burger King a lot, and you can easily exit the line if you decide to change your mind or you had to leave quickly, sometimes in the McDonald's lines and so forth. But this legislation really is about expressing support for the Megan's Way Out bill that's sponsored by State Senator Casey Weinstein to mandate that drive-through lanes in new or renovated facilities provide a bypass lane. So if there's a reason a person would need to exit, be it an emergency or a threat or just that you decided to change your mind and wanted to get out of the line, that you'll be able to exit without any concerns or issues, or if we had to have emergency vehicles to come in and render assistance, they would be able to get to the vehicle and to the individuals inside. So the issue here is that we would require that, and I asked Mr. Kyle Julian to be here, just in the event there were additional information that we need to share about this legislation, but is really to support Senator Casey Weinstein's legislation at the state level that new or renovated facilities would create a bypass lane if you have a drive-through. so that people can exit or emergency vehicles can access. Is there anything else you would like to add, Mr. Julian?
Thank you, Councilwoman. I did take a look at the text of the proposed bill, or the bill has been introduced, and it does require a new facility or a drive-through restaurant that's undergoing significant renovation to add that capacity for a pull-out lane. But there are a couple exceptions that are allowed if the property doesn't allow it, if there's not room on the property for that extra maybe 12 feet. Or if the requiring that or fulfilling that requirement would create a hardship that would force the business to close or relocate. So there are some exceptions that are allowed within, at least as the text stands now. I think that if you drive around the city and you think about some of our drive-through restaurants, particularly closer to downtown, I think some of them would have a hard time accommodating that as they sit now. And I would not like to see, I'm glad that there's those exceptions. I would not like to see people acquiring extra lots to accommodate that. I don't think that's a great thing for our urban land use patterns or our fiscal situation, honestly, to add more pavement without building on it. But that's my understanding of how this bill reads.
Thank you, Mr. Julian. Are there any further questions or concerns?
I think Mr. Julian has explained part of it. I just was kind of digesting the actual bill today, because very much so what was explained, you were talking about different locations within the city. I could see where there would be issues, and I also thought if it would restrict a new build or a remodel to only have one lane, because I don't know if you had a lane to be able to get out, and many of our drive-throughs have dual lanes. Pharmacies have dual lanes. A lot of them have dual lanes. If we eliminate one of those lanes, and we've heard people discussing in different businesses coming in about a fear of traffic, and we see different businesses where traffic's already lined out onto the street. So when you have traffic that backs up and goes out onto a roadway, people have a tendency, they're like right on the next bumper in front of them. If we have a lane for escape and everybody's so close, how is a vehicle going to get out of there if they can't really move forward or backward to make that turn to get out? So I see potential issues with this, but I think some of it is explained for exceptions because of the footprint of the property and so on. So.
And I'm not an engineer or an architect or anything like that, but I would imagine as this is implemented that new businesses and those that are renovating hopefully would take these things into consideration, particularly if you have something like this. I mean, this is totally unimaginable that something like this hopefully will ever happen again, I hope, but it could, and the person hopefully will be able to get out. Yeah, I was thinking as you were talking, at CVS, when I go there, there is that lane on the side where you can actually get around. So, and as I said, with Burger Kings and some of the other fast food places, you're not boxed in. You're not, forced in to an area. So I guess there are ways to do it, but they would need to, as they are looking at their new facilities or renovated facilities, take these things into consideration. How would someone get out of a line if they needed to quickly? So.
Okay. Any other committee members? Oh, any committee members? You're on public safety. Yes, you are.
Oh, sorry. Right when you said
Mr.
that,
Kamer.
I was thinking health and
No, sir. Mr. Kamer, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have not read the bill yet. I'm glad you brought that up, Councilman McKittrick. But for the sponsor and for the city, Did the great senator add any kind of funding for existing drive-throughs to try to see if they could go after and help some of the existing drive-throughs, maybe convert those into dual drive-throughs or anything?
I'm not aware of any.
Existing's grandfather.
This covers what new and renovated.
Right.
No to new funding, and they wouldn't be required to.
Yeah, so, but according to the bill, there's no funding attached to this, correct, for drive-throughs? It's mostly just anybody that's moving forward with a new existing, or not existing, but a new, or they're gonna renovate, they have to change it to like a dual drive-through or an easy way out, I'm guessing?
If there's room on the property, then yeah,
Right.
they would have to.
Well, that's my question to the sponsor, that there's no money attached to this bill, correct?
Not that I'm aware.
Okay, and then my city question is, I know, I don't want to say we have the money, but have we ever thought about now moving forward, maybe think about helping some existing businesses out that have these drive-throughs with like a 50-50 match or anything to try to help them out with redesigning their drive-through?
No, we haven't thought about, I mean, this was introduced last month, I think, at the state level, and we, have taken a look at it over the last few days in any depth. No, I haven't looked, we haven't discussed that. I don't, I don't know. You'd have to look and see, think about that from the perspective, how many, when we get to the point where this has sort of been through the committee process in Columbus, right? How many of the businesses that we deal with would be exempted based on those exceptions? I think that would be something that we would, look at as a helping point.
No, hopefully this never happens again. It was a tragedy, so. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other committee members or council members? Councilwoman Amobian, what's your pleasure on this?
One of the things I wanted to do is get in touch with, I did try to reach State Senator Casey Weinstein, and I can do that. So if we want to do,
Consent agenda?
yeah.
Okay.
That would give me time.
Okay.
See if he's available.
All right, very
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
Is there a motion for consent?
Motion for consent.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll get that on the consent agenda. And there's nothing further to come before public safety. We will be adjourned. Thank you.
And Sarah, Dr. Smith is here, so give us a minute or two. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for your patience, everyone. I know we're running a few minutes behind today. Our next committee will be the Health and Social Services Committee. We'll begin in just a few minutes. Those committee members are Amobian, Davis, DeShazier, Boyes, and Garrett. Again, that's the Health and Social Services Committee, and it'll begin in just a few minutes. Thank you.
Or that's on the scout team.
So you push that
Push
when you
it,
talk.
and red will blow.
And then ready when you are, Sarah.
Okay, we're ready to begin the Health and Social Services Committee. Again, those committee members are Amobian, Davis, DeShazier, Boyes, and Garrett. We do not have Councilman Garrett with us.
Okay.
Councilman DeShazier has joined us but is not connected to video. You do have a quorum, though, if you're ready to begin.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Today, we are very fortunate to have with us Dr. Doug Smith from the Adam Board. He is the, I'll let you tell me your official title, because I was going to tell you, you're the man in charge of the medical part, the clinical part of the mental health system in Summit County.
Yeah, thank you, Councilwoman. Chief Clinical Officer is the official Ohio Revised Code title, which is also defined as Medical Director.
Okay. He is here to talk to us about the Adam Board levy that's on the ballot and to share with us about the mental health system in Summit County. I'll let Tina, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Tina Boys. I'm the Ward 9 council person, and I actually spoke at Issue 1 kickoff.
Yeah. We have Councilman Sam DeShazier and Councilwoman Janice Davis on the virtual. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you. I think this is important work that you guys do, but we want to listen to get all of the details of what's happening and what we should be looking for.
Janice, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Councilwoman Davis over in Ward 4, and looking forward to hearing the presentation.
Thank you. And Jeff, you're not on the committee, but please.
Yeah, I'm not on the committee, but Doctor, I think we've talked before on the phone. Jeff Fusco on City Council. We've spoken in the past. Very nice to meet you in person. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you.
We will call the meeting to order, and please, we'll have a motion to accept the minutes from our last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we're currently in the meeting. Let me just start off by just saying that as a person who retired from this system just a little over a year ago, I can tell you as I travel around the country doing surveys for other behavioral organizations, you won't find a system, and I may be partial, but that's okay. You won't find a system as organized, as comprehensive, as collaborative as the one in Summit County. I mean, you can actually find an agency and know where you're going. There are so many different systems across the nation, and you will find it is so confusing to know where to go get help, who to call, and all of that. Summit County has always been so very well organized and so easy to access, and we have just been rich and very proud of this system for a number of years. And I worked in the system for 48 years, so I can tell you that I speak from experience, and thank God for Dr. Smith, who has been really instrumental in carrying on a lot of these efforts. When I left the system, everybody in the system had a representative that would meet with Dr. Smith once a month. That's how collaborative we have been and continue to be. You represent your agency, you talk about what's going on, your strengths of your system, and how he got these agencies and things to work together. That's just how collaborative we've been. The CIT program, he is the one who does that. I don't know how many times a year now we're doing it, but you'll talk 4 times a year, where you have probably all the officers, if not all of them, many of them in Akron, train in that. And every law enforcement agency in Summit County has somebody on their staff that's gone through the training and continue to go through it. So there are so many initiatives I can tell you about that we have been doing. So they do have their number, they're issue 1, so it's the first thing you will see. And I'm just going to turn over to Dr. Smith for you to talk some more, and then we can ask more questions.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilwoman. Yeah, actually, maybe I'll start with a couple of the highlights, as Lynn's already done that. So CIT, yeah, it started in Memphis in 1988, but we were the second in the country in Akron in 2000, and so this is actually the 25th anniversary. We have, as a result of some of that, we've trained more officers across the county than any other county. and Akron is extremely well trained at this point. So we have a lot of trained officers and paramedics, actually, including some that were just in the audience minutes ago. So we've trained a lot of paramedics, firefighters in Akron, some in a couple other sections of the county. There are 31 law enforcement jurisdictions, including the hospital police officers, and we've trained all of them as well, at least some of them in each of those locations. That led to what you probably have heard of, the Scout Team, the Summit County Outreach Team. That's actually, at the moment, only in Akron, in quotes only. You're the biggest population, so that's been a wonderful initiative as well. Again, very collaborative. Akron also was the first to have a mental health court in the state of Ohio through our own Judge Stormer when she was on the criminal bench. And under her leadership as well, and we have a team that does this, assisted outpatient treatment, which is from the probate court for individuals with serious and persistent mental illness who are so ill that they end up in the hospital and go through the whole process of civil commitment. When they come out, we are the leader in that, and not by my words or Judge Stormer's words, but literally we are seen as the best in the country for AOT. They actually just made a movie about us, and I think in 26 or 27 there'll be a miniseries, a 3-part miniseries, last we've been told by the movie maker, documentary, all positive. They promise us, with some families that signed releases and police officers and some clinicians at Community Support Services, Dr. Schwartz and like. So again, just a few highlights of things that really are firsts in Akron, and I'm proud to be part of the ADM board where we're part of that collaboration. It takes the village, as they say, to do that. So with all that, we are on the ballot, levy issue number 1 on November 4th. And probably one of the most important things to mention is that we have not, we've been running on the same dollars as we have since our 2007 levy. So we've not asked for any change since that time. And so this time, a lot of meetings were held, including all the way went through county council as well, of course. And so we are asking for a renewal with a small increase this time to make up for all those years. It really takes more to take care of individuals now with substance use, mental illness, and of course a large overlap of that, which gets into criminal justice, as Councilwoman mentioned, CIT and the like. So that'll take us to a 3.45 millage, which my understanding is that it's $57 per year for $100,000 of the assessed value, which I had to learn is more like a $400,000 home. So it's very confusing, which is, I think above the average of my home and most homes in Akron. So it's really not even that much, but $57 a year, it will go up to $75 per year for that this levy increase, so very modest. We could have gone much higher by law. We were very balanced and chose to go with exactly what we think we need. Our current levy generates about $36 million per year, and the new levy increase would raise that by about $10 million. That money, 93%, sometimes more, goes out directly to the agencies, about 30 agencies across the county. Very little stays for our rent, keeping the lights on, paying our personnel. We're very lean, about 24 people when we're fully staffed. And we think we may have just literally become fully staffed for the first time in a while last week. A lot of money goes to substance use services, a lot also to mental health services, and then we are continuing to put more and more into prevention services, which is the only way eventually we get ahead of this. I did send all of our handouts to save some paper to Sarah, so thank you for that. So she can give you all those electronically, both in the room as well as online. That will include our 2024 impact report from the ADM board, talking about a lot of the great things that have happened in 2024. A resource guide, as Councilwoman mentioned, we are very well resourced compared to many counties in the country, let alone in Ohio. So that resource guide gives access to that. Our website, admboard.org, also contains all that information for the public to be able to, the citizens of Akron and beyond in the county. And then a tip card that talks about what I've just described around the levy, as well as an endorsement form. And not about money, we're just asking for various entities. Obviously, City Council is very powerful in that respect, to let the public know this is an important initiative. That is the big stuff. I don't want to take too much time, but on behalf of Amy Wade, who's our executive director, I appreciate you having me be here, and I'll take questions.
I don't know if you've talked about the reduction that we've experienced in the last few years of lives that we have, increased the number of lives that we've saved as a result of the initiatives that we put in place around overdoses. Just so that everybody knows, none of this money is spent on the campaign. Every year, the Adam Board has put on a big fundraiser at the IBH and raised money for years for the campaign. So the campaign is strictly paid by some other dollars that have been raised. A facility like the one that's being built on the grounds of North Coast, where you can step down from the hospital, because most of the patients in the hospital are forensic patients. When they have civil admissions, and sometimes they need some further time to stabilize, there's no place for them to go. So they're building a facility on the grounds of the hospital where they can step down into that facility and further stabilize. Medicaid and those dollars that provide funds for treatment would not cover physical structures like that. The crisis center that we have behind the St. Thomas Hospital, for instance, where people go for the emergency evaluation, that facility is usually built by capital dollars as well. So it's a number of things that Medicaid and those kind of funding sources would not cover. So we need the funds of the levy. And we've just been blessed to have the levy for years. So what questions do you have? Comments, questions? Go.
Just thank you for attending, and Linda Moby, and thank you for bringing in Dr. Smith here. Appreciate it, and learning, everything that's done. My question isn't just getting this, but on the homeless piece, what is those efforts looking like? More and more we hear that, and we'd like to, it would be useful information for us to be able to share and learn about.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And again, thank you, Councilwoman, for adding in some of the other big parts that we're working on. I'll just mention the Fred Freeze House up on the grounds of North Coast that Councilwoman mentioned is scheduled, looks like it's on target to open on or about March 31st of 2026. So that's actually coming up quickly. You're probably aware that Thrive House already opened for people coming out of the jail for a similar approach to giving them, people say rehabilitation. In many cases, in both these new facilities, habilitation. These individuals got ill early enough they never even learned to do the basics. So our goal is to give them the best chance of autonomy going forward and not need to go into the hospital, not need to go back to jail or beyond that, obviously. So for homelessness, there has been long-standing, and it grows as much as everybody can make it grow. A lot of teams, a lot of them actually come through Councilwoman's former agency, a lot of funding through ADM, but so they have a very excellent homeless outreach team. They go out to wherever individuals are, and it takes often much time, many contacts to help somebody trust that they're really there to help, or they really want to help people and give them a chance to move forward in their lives and ultimately become productive citizens. And that has continued, and over time, in fact, through a lot of bonds and other issues with some of the builders, Testa builders in particular, they've built at least 180 apartment units, individual apartment units for individuals who were formerly homeless, some of which are set aside for veterans who were formerly homeless, so they're very targeted as well. And that's phenomenal. I've toured them several times, and it was amazing to watch a citizen who had been homeless, sometimes for years before they would trust somebody at all because of the reasons they ended up homeless. They weren't very trusting of other citizens. To give a tour of their apartment, brought me to tears the first time, and so proud of their apartment, to say, look where I'm living. So the homeless piece, huge. So there's a lot of work on that. A lot of it is through CSS and dollars that we provide. And on top of that, of course, the CIT officers, the scout team often encounter individuals who are homeless, and they are armed, probably a bad choice of words, they have resources to hand individuals to help them. And again, help to build that trust more, to see that it is a team. I'm very big on the T, CIT is the T is team, but really everything we're doing, the collaboration that Councilwoman mentioned, is about the team. and the team helps these individuals gradually move forward. The Thrive House will help that for people coming out of jail. The Fred Freeze House will help people coming out of hospitalization. And then beyond that, all the service arrays that we have will help these people continue to move forward, despite the current climate where it's unclear how the federal dollars are going to be, it's unclear how the state dollars are going to be, which is why this levy is so important, because we need to at least have the safety net continue here. We are the payer of last resort for a lot of these services, many of which, as Councilwoman said, Medicaid doesn't even touch. So transportation's another big one. How do people get to their appointments? I mean, there's issues here about how do you make sure people can actually get to the great services. It's wonderful to have them. We do. We have phenomenal services and a great continuum. And I will, just to fill in a little bit, so the other project that Councilwoman alluded to is a new building that will replace, ultimately, and that's still in the planning phase, that's much more ambitious than the Fred Freeze place. It will replace the current ADM Crisis Center, which is behind the former St. Thomas. We're still working on exactly where it will be built. There's politics there as well, but it will be in Akron proper, that's for sure. And that will replace the units with much more newer settings, again, much better for the citizens who come there. And then hopefully the goal is, the way we're building it, to add other things to make it we're going to hopefully call it a community wellness center, not the crisis center, which has stigma. Right, it's that place behind the St. Thomas, that's how it gets going. And this will be a community wellness center that anybody would be happy to have themselves or a loved one go to a meeting. That could be a scout meeting, a PTA meeting, other types of meetings, a council meeting for that matter, although it won't have this electronic setup. But to be able to have a meeting and not make it a place that's only about crisis. So our goal, and we'll have a pharmacy there, which will be a goal as a public-facing pharmacy, so it's a resource to the community that doesn't exist right now, as well as other pieces that we're adding to further what was done decades ago in the current setting.
Just want to wish you good luck with regards to November, what's
4th.
the date? 4th, yeah, you know off the top of your head. Good luck. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just quickly, I just wanted to thank you for your work. As I mentioned last Monday, my ward just happens to encompass one zip code that happened to be, the largest single overdose death rate in Summit County 3 years ago. And with the hard work of your organization and your 30-plus partner organizations, you've been able to help us cut that in half. And from someone who has lost someone to opioid overdose in the community, I really appreciate your hard work and definitely support this. So appreciate that.
Thank you. Sorry for your loss. I think, sadly, most people know someone, either in their family or support system, that have unfortunately died from an overdose. And that, I hope, the only positive that comes out of that is maybe it gets rid of some of the stigma, so people aren't so unwilling to come forward, and that has helped in those numbers. And you're right, it's been cut down by about half. This 2025 numbers are also below 2024 numbers, so we're actually continuing to trend downward, which is phenomenal. And as of today, we do as of today, we get a weekly report from our excellent clinical data guy. We're down by almost 10% from last year. So obviously the only good number is 0 for overdose deaths, but we are at least continuing the good work to trend that down. So thank you.
Is there anybody online that wanted to ask a question or make a comment? No.
I have one comment, and I was just saying that I thought this was paramount to the healthcare concerns of our community, and that if we can highlight some of those things, so maybe there's an opportunity for change. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so very much. Everybody should have received their first flyer in the mail the other day. I got mine that tells you about the levy and explains the renewal and the slight increase. But it is a system that's very much worth supporting. So I hope everybody will get out and vote yes for issue 1. Thank you so much, Dr. Smith, for taking the time to come.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you.
Our next committee of the day is the Budget and Finance Committee. We'll begin in just a few minutes. Those committee members are Lombardo, Amobian, Fusco, Boyes, and Bolden. Again, that's the Budget and Finance Committee, and we'll begin in just a few minutes. Thank you. Okay, thanks for your patience, everyone. We are ready to begin the Budget and Finance Committee. Those committee members are Lombardo, Amobian, Fusco, Boyes, and Bolden. We do have all committee members present except for Councilwoman Amobian. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Clerk Bibiano. I'd like to get approval of last week's meeting minutes.
So moved.
Motion, a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. All right, this afternoon we have about 5 items in front of us. The first being an ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of bonds in the maximum principal amount of $21,500,000 for the purpose of paying a portion of the city's $65,512,425 various purpose general obligation bond anticipation note, Series 2024, at maturity, and declaring an emergency. Mr. Fricker.
So thank you, Mr. Chair. So these next 4 pieces are all related in that they are refinancing existing notes, debt issuances that the city has. The first one is for our note that we issued last year, our 2024 various purpose note. And what we're doing is what we've been doing over the past few years is taking the oldest issuance of notes, and that's our 2022 issuance. We're taking that to long-term bonds, and then we're going to roll the 23 and 24 pieces over in a new note. So this is something we've been doing the past few years that just gives us some flexibility in terms of taking some of it to long-term financing, but keeping some of it short-term, hoping that rates will go down a little bit. So this is what we've been doing for the past few years.
Thank you. Okay. Any questions from committee members or other council members? Very good.
And we would like to pass this if we could.
Okay, can I get a motion for suspending the rules?
Second.
All right, motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Pass. Second piece is an ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of bonds in the maximum principal amount of $5,200,000 for the purpose of paying all the city's $5,163,705.56 taxable Economic Development Revenue Note, Series 2024. And that's an AES system improvement project at maturity, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So similar to the last piece, this particular note was issued a few years ago, and we've been rolling notes annually. We're going to take this to long-term financing. So these were notes that were issued for improvements to the steam system. So the majority of this went towards the new boilers, but there were other improvements to that facility that were financed with those notes.
Okay. Questions from any committee members or council members? No questions? Same?
Yes.
Like to pass this today?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules with a favorable report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Third item this afternoon is an ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of bonds in the maximum principal amount of $1,680,000 for the purpose of paying all of the city's $1,678,666.67 taxable general obligation property acquisition bond anticipation notes, Series 2024, at maturity, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So same situation as the other two pieces. This note was issued a few years ago. This is what we used to purchase the IBH property in Coventry Township, and that is a joint venture with Coventry Township. They're paying half of the debt service on this debt issuance.
Okay. Can I get a motion to suspend the rules?
Suspend the rules.
All right. And there's a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Very good. Fourth item is an ordinance authorizing the issuance and sale of bonds in the maximum principal amount of $5 million for the purpose of paying the city's $5 million general obligation courthouse improvement bond anticipation notes, Series 2024, at maturity, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So again, same situation. These were notes that were issued in addition to other bonds to fund the courthouse and the Ocasek building.
Very good. Questions from any committee members or council members?
Suspend the rules.
And we have a motion on the floor to suspend the rules. Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Very good. And the last item today is an ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts without the formality of publicly advertising for bids for the purpose of 6 vehicles for the Akron Municipal Court and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is for the municipal court to replace the cars that the bailiffs use. So they are replacing 6 cars, and this is being funded out of their special revenue funds that the courts have.
Okay. And any questions from any committee members or council members?
Just a comment. I didn't
Just
know
comment.
the court had vehicles. Will they use them to serve, what, warrants and stuff?
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't know the court had vehicles. They use them to serve warrants and stuff?
Yes, we do have David Soder here from the, oh, there he is. Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me, could you come to a microphone? Thank you.
Yes, we use them to serve court papers, subpoenas, perform evictions, any outside service that the court offers.
What was your name, sir?
I'm sorry, my name's David Soder.
Dave?
Soder, S-O-D-E-R.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming. What would be you have a question, Mr. Fusco?
Yes, thank you. Just curious, so we're talking about buying 6 vehicles for $200,000, is that it?
Yeah, it actually will be, that was the budget amount. It's my understanding that cars are about $183,000, so slightly less than that, yeah.
Okay. Are they used cars or something, or?
No, they're new. I believe they're Ford Escapes. Yeah.
A little. And why is it we're going without the formality of bid? I'm just curious.
I can answer that. It's being bought off of a sole source state contract, so we get state contract pricing for these vehicles.
Right.
Okay.
Very good. Your pleasure this afternoon.
Would like to pass this if we could.
Okay.
So move.
Motion to suspend the rules. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. All items are passed today.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you for your time. Thanks for coming down, Dave. And without any further business, our meeting is adjourned.
Okay, that is our final committee meeting of the day. Council will meet in special session at 5 o'clock. Thank you.